G'day, fellas, and welcome to game number 25 of Outback Octagon 4. Today, we are once again on rigged. I feel like the numbers for rigged are absolutely rigged. This map comes up almost as much as Mega Random, and look, it's not that I'm complaining, it's just that this map is a little bit rigged. There are so many resources on this map to take advantage of. There are berries out the wazoo. There is a lot of gold. A lot of things going on, but one thing to note is there's normally not a lot of relics. Well, that is except for today's game. 1, 2, 3 relics. Count them with me. Another 3 over towards this side. And we've got 2 here. We've got 2 here. Then we've got another 1 over here. So we're already up to 11. And then that's another 3 over here. So now we're up to 14. And these are just the ones that I can see. Just remember, I am legally blind, so there's a good chance there's probably more. So apparently... things are going to be a bit exciting today. Anyway, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Let's get into it. Spawning in the north of the map in the color green are playing as the English. He's a little bit hungover. I'm aware that he went to a Christmas market last night. So good luck today, Lash. He's got a good spawn. We'll give him that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's Lash. And on the east side of the map in the color pink, playing as the Chinese, it's Fei Chan. To her south, in the color blue, playing as the Knights Templar, it's Vortex. Okay. To their south, in the color purple, playing as the Rus, it's Daimyo. And to the south of the map, in the color orange, playing as the Order of the Dragon, it's Puppy Paw. Further south, in the color yellow, playing as the... I was going to say as the Knights Templar again. Look at this. He's actually taking out the Wolf Den here. We've got Joan of Arc, played by Wham01. And to the west, in the color light blue, cyan, teal, playing as the French, we've got Avely. And then, finally, in the color red, playing as the Macedonian Dynasty, nice and close here to him, it's Nimodon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rigged. Now, there's a couple things that we need to do before we get into this game. I'm just going to say it right here. Apparently, there's a scar error that happens. You know those annoying errors that pop up on your screen and go bloop? So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this button down here. You can't see it. I've got my mouse down here. We're just going to go bloop. And it's going to be real ugly. So apparently, we're just going to do this for a little bit, okay? And then once the Knights Templar have aged up, then hopefully we should be okay. I'm just going to get clarification from Cow. Cow, do we need to change perspective or are we all right watching Vortex at the moment? So hopefully we should be able to get through the fire and the flames and then we'll be able to switch the UI back in. But while we wait for the scar error and pass the scar error, let's take a look and see what the leaderboard is at. I will just remind you, this is the final week for Outback Octagon right here, right now. And because of that, it's finals next week, but you got to really make it count here. So we're going to be looking to specific players, hopefully players like Faye, who are lower on the side of the leaderboard, and to see whether or not she can actually pick it up. All right, let's ride on board here with Faye, just to be safe. Let's get ourselves a nice little look at the leaderboard here. Okay, so we've got our top 16. These guys will be going through to the next stage of Outback Octagon. And the bottom 16, we're going to be cutting them at the end of this week. So it's incredibly important that these guys in the bottom 16 do their best to perform well. But the guys that are already on top, people like Corvinus, Puppy Paw, Beastie, Daimyo, and Wham, they should be pretty much safe at this point. So if you're rooting for them, you're rooting for a guy that's already doing pretty well. So just keep that in mind. So who's your money on for this game? That's the big question. Let's take a look and see who's got the best spawn. Well, I don't think you can really go past our player up in the north here, Lash. The only trouble is, as I mentioned, he's a little bit hungover. So I don't know whether or not he's going to be able to pull it out today. I'm hoping that he will, but he's definitely in a very good spot. He's also playing the English, so maybe we see like a 2TC White Tower Fast Castle from him. I think that could definitely be a good play in his position. Another thing to note is his nearest neighbors. Well, his nearest neighbors are already locked into battle. Faye playing as the Chinese, not opting for the Barbican, instead going to be opting for the Imperial Academy. And I think this makes a lot of sense. Why does it make sense? Well, how could she possibly get a Barbican down when there's already double outposts up on her south side? It's not like she could just be going down here and throwing the Barbican down on top of the town center. It's just not going to happen. I mean, you could obviously do that, but the fact that the outposts are pre-built really just protects Vortex in this situation. So really smart move there by Vortex. Over towards the southwest side, we've also got 2 landmarks coming up at the same time. Let's double check and see. I need to make sure the age up hasn't come through. Because as I said, like, when it comes to the UI, we just to be sure, we got to make sure that it's not happening. But it looks like we've got our first age ups now starting to come through over on the east side. Demo aging up with the Golden Gate. Imperial Academy obviously already up. We've got the Abbey up towards the north here for Lash. And the Arkan Chapel to the south for Puppy Paw. Of course, someone that we haven't really talked about, but somebody who's got access to quite a few relics. Well, had access to quite a few relics. Unfortunately, they've been walled out. Wait, does Joan of Arc get XP for walling? I mean, it's probably at the same rate as gathering resources, so I don't think it's really cause for concern. Scout gonna stand. Scout was gonna stand, not anymore. Not gonna stand there, but pretty smart move here. Coming out down onto the south side. Now, this is a bit of an awkward position as well. If we take a look here, it's not like it's going to be particularly easy to grab these relics. You know what I would do if I was Puppy Paw? I'd come around and I'd just wall this in right here. I think that would be the big brain play. And it definitely means that, like, Wham is going to be going for a fast castle as well. And in fact, I just realized we're going to have brothers facing off against each other. Ville's now coming forward with the outpost. The consequence of not going for that Barbican defensively, is that going to be a villager that potentially goes down right here? It could be. That could be one Ville, minus one Ville. Indeed, it's minus one Ville right now for Vortex, but it looks like he's about to take one out. There's the Barbican now coming out, and this is actually quite smart. What has he done? He's actually forced his opponent to drop the Barbican. Okay, so we see the age ups now come through for Vortex, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click this UI button, and I'm going to hope it doesn't crash the game. Let's see. All right, I think we made it through. I think we're okay. Okay, so yeah, I think there's quite a smart move here by Vortex, specifically because he forces the Barbican to get put down. He says, hey, put down your Barbican. I'm going to keep doing this if you don't do it. And so she does it. And now because of that, it means that the Barbican, like, I would have been dropping the Barbican over here. I would have just been doing silly shenanigans. You bring all your Vills over there, ruin the day for Vortex. But the trouble is, you know, the reality is when you get a spawn like this, it's pretty much a ruined day for both of you, unfortunately. They're going to do their best to try and fight it out. If they had a little bit of isolation, maybe it would be okay. But the trouble is, there's a neighbor nearby. And as I said, he's a little bit hungover, but I'm going to keep mentioning that every opportunity that I get. I had a message from one of our mutual friends a little bit earlier today. He just said, like, hey, heads up, by the way, Lash totally, he drank a bit too much last night. They all went to a Christmas market. I'm assuming over in Germany. I don't know whether they were, I suspect they probably weren't traveling across the border together. So anyway, let's do it. We've got Chamber of Commerce coming up right here as well for Averley. Curious decision. Now, trade is definitely on the table. What are these traders pulling in? 14. Anybody in the chat bother mentioning the fact that Averley is trading? That's a big factor here. Now, he doesn't really have a decent spot to go, right? Like, you could technically do it out here, but it makes it very difficult to justify. And these are both central. Let's actually switch perspectives here. We'll switch up to Lash because he's the most isolated, but he's already moving out of home, which is kind of wild, the fact that he's so far away, but I guess he's got to be. Have a look at this. When it comes to resources, he's all isolated in the corner, but there's not really much gold, much stone up there, so he's moved out, and he's going to be moving down towards this south position, which is going to be crazy. If he makes his base down in this position down here, there are so many resources to potentially take. Okay. So let's check in and see how Puppy Paw is doing. Keep in mind, he's going to be looking for that fast castle here. He's also gone into a 2TC, which is a little bit curious, but a welcome decision nonetheless. Now, we've got a pretty stacked lobby when it comes to this to this game here. We've got Puppy Paw, we've got Demo, we've got Wham. These three are absolute monsters when it comes to FFA. At least so far in this season of Outback Octagon, they are doing very, very well. So I'm curious to see exactly how it's going to unfold for them. And oh my god, it's like the dream high trade house back here. Somehow Demu manages to find what may be the greatest high trade house we will ever see in Outback Octagon. I mean, I think there may have been better than this, but it's still a pretty good one. What's our guess for the trees? Can we go with like 76 trees? Nah, it's got to be more than that. 77 trees. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look and see what's it going to be. 78. Let's go 78. 78. 99 trees. I got 99 trees. And a deer ain't one. Not anymore, because the deer's dead. Look at that. Impressive little spot that he's got back here. That is very well studied by Demo. And good job on him for finding that, reaching behind there and saying, all right, let's take a look at that. Double Monastery now going to get thrown down as well. Wham also reaching the Castle Age, looking to potentially snipe away some of these relics. Of course, we know that about the 2 up towards the top side. There's 2 towards the bottom side. And it looks like Puppy Paw may potentially not get a single relic to his name. Meanwhile, on that south side, we do have second TC starting to come out for our players. Down on the south side, Numadan adding that second one in. We've also got the guild hall coming through for Averley. He's just going to be opting for a 1 TC together with just a little bit of trade. Keep in mind, he does have the Chamber of Commerce, so he's obviously getting these traders in for free. Second TC, not in sight here for Wham. So Puppy Paw's also got the Burgrave out as well. Very curious decision, but I do like this, right? In a lobby where you typically see a lot of cavalry, knowing how these players play, to go into the Burgrave is not actually a bad decision here. Obviously, we would have loved to have played Regnitz and to have gotten walls up here, but it's kind of difficult when there's knights that are guarding this up and Joan of Arc standing here ready to roll. It doesn't make it easy. And now Faye, looking like she may potentially resume the offensive. You see the battering ram's taken a little bit of a hit here, so she's going to bring it back and hopefully repair it up. Zhukanoo number starting to build. Now, if we ride on board with Lash, I want to see exactly what he knows at this stage. Okay, so he doesn't really know that much. Does he know about the position of these players? He does know about the position, as we've got a fortress that's coming up. It's kind of wild to see last week going from Faye doing the fortress dropping to now being fortress dropped herself. Battering ram taking quite a bit of damage. Zhukanoo number quite low. Gonna try and pick off the Vils at the back. Should be enough to one-shot if she wants to, and she's able to find a connection. Battering ram now gonna be coming through. Zhukanoo spam continues, and we've got a warrior mog just casually running through, saying, hey, excuse me, don't mind me. Sorry, I'm just looking for relics. Do you guys mind? I kind of need those relics there. And he's going to come back. He's going to just once again ask for it. But look at this. We've got Faye putting on the pressure. I think she denies this from Vortex. Faye in a 1v1 situation here up against one of the world's best players. Now potentially taking out this fortress. Vils going to be committing 100%, but look at the amount of eco damage she's doing. Vortex down to 25 Vils, Faye on 44. Almost double the economy, and the battering ram still... Nice try, Demo. Nice try, you sneaky little Demo. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. But now, I mean, realistically, at this stage, Faye's done so much damage. Even if the fortress comes up, at what cost, right? At what cost? It's ridiculous. 22 villages now for Vortex. You know, he might get this up, but at the end of the day, he's going to die to the next wave. No, the battering ram. No, the battering ram might actually get the kill. Oh, my lord. I think it actually gets the kill here. The Vils are trying to siege it down. Survives with 300. Oh, my God, that sound. I got to check the minimap right now. I got to make sure I'm not missing anything. I mean, we shouldn't have kings out right now, so I feel like we should be safe. Fortress is burning, dude. Fortress is burning. It was born burning. Oh, poor little thing right there. Poor little thing. It's kind of wild, the fact that he can't... Is he... Yeah, okay. He's out repairing the burn. Well, that was a pretty impressive engagement there from Faye. The way that she was able to force Vortex into that position. Vortex is down to 15 villages, by the way. Honestly, the best thing I think Faye can do in this situation is just go 2TC herself and maybe, like, just spam spears. The worst thing she can do right now is, like, try and double down. I mean, actually, no. I think if she goes for first blood here, this could be massive points for her. So definitely it could make a bit of sense. Spear's now going to be coming out for Wham, or rather against Wham. Puppy Paw. Now I'm going to be looking to siege down the monastery. Checking back over on the east side. How are we doing for units? Oh, and we've got the classic case of, hey, wait a minute. I think there could be some trouble heading up towards that north side. Fortress is being repaired up. Looks like Faye's going to start sticking it on a second battering ram as well. The real challenge is down here. It's the king. How do you get to that king? I'd almost be tempted to go for like 4 or 5 battering rams and just try and whip it in as hard and as fast as you can. Because right now, people shouldn't really know the status of Vortex, right? They're not going to know exactly how many villages he's lost, how weak he is. That's the other thing to remember, right? Like, he is really, really weak right now. And it's just, if people know that, they'll bring their cav over. It's going to be a feeding frenzy, and then you're going to go. But if you can bring like the 6 battering rams in and just whoop him real quick, get it over and done with, then perhaps there's an opportunity there for you. Unfortunately, battering rams coming up. They're just going to sacrifice themselves to the villagers. It's not pretty. I don't know what Faye's doing here. She's kind of throwing the game away. This is 2 battering rams that she's thrown. All of the Zhukanoo are here, but I guess we've got this fortress. I mean, you can put the Zhukanoo inside the battering rams. Like, that's the whole mechanic. Fortress does quite a bit of damage, though, and now we got Radari inside the base of Averley. Is Averley going fast Imperial? Averley's going fast Imperial. Red Palace in the middle of the map here. He's going to try and keep it alive. We can see the guild hall now going to get sieged down with the Red Palace coming up. The keep is here protecting the king. That'll mean an emplacement for all of these. But have a look at this over towards the east side. Demu now on the map. he is well and truly aware of what is happening, and I guess that's the other factor, right? Like, even if you brought those 6 battering rams in with your Zhukudu, like, they're just all going to die to the knights, aren't they? It's such a hard position. It's one of those cursed things where it's just like, you get a bad spawn, you get an aggressive neighbor like Vortex, and I mean, spawning next to Vortex is a death sentence. I'll say that. It is just, it's so hard, man, because he's so competent. He knows how to do it. He's definitely quite talented when it comes to this. And now, check back in with Puppy Paw. He's on 60 villagers at this stage. Wham! He's on 53. Now, keep in mind, Puppy Paw's also got those gilded villagers, or those dragon villagers, as I think they're called. I think, did they? Because they changed the name, didn't they? No, they're gilded villagers. I remember they used to call them dragon villagers, and I remember there was one unit that kept the dragon name, and I thought it might have been the villagers. But speaking of villagers right now, Vortex on 17 villagers. Things not looking pretty. Not looking pretty in paradise right here. How are we doing for Faye? She's got the age up that's come through. She's gone for the clock tower, so she's definitely done the right thing to stay alive in this game. Whether or not that's the right thing to score points is a different matter. So we'll see how she plays it out. Elsbach Palace now coming up. Oh my god. Can we just talk about the potential for this Elsbach Palace and the fact you're never going to snipe this? The defensive wooden forests around this make it almost impossible to snipe. Oh, that's gonna be fun to watch in the late game. Now, speaking of late game, how are we doing over here? We got the white tower against the wall. How's Lash doing? Lash is vibing out right now. He's listening to Miley Cyrus, that is for sure. Party of the USA is happening. He's having a good time. But there's the Knights now coming in 17 minutes into the game. We've got our first little bit of a tussle beginning to happen, and expect to see more players make their way across the map if they can afford to send the units. Of course, we've got Radari over here as well for Numidan, our Macedonian player. Back towards that top side. The feeding frenzy continues. Now, if I'm playing right here as Faye, I'm looking to try and get this snipe out at the last second. It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be really hard. You need to have line of sight. You need to have vision. I'd almost be tempted to put an outpost in here and just wait for that king to come out. And the moment that it comes out, you begin moving those Zhukanu in. You can see a bit of a fight now beginning to break out here. Lash up against Demu on the north side of this map. Falling back away from this, outnumbered. Boyer's Fortitude already coming through here as well for Demu, so looking to pick up a little bit of extra health on his cav. No bonus attack speed just yet for Lash. And Faye just on standby. She's just waiting, just holding out. Let's see if she can do it. Down to 1,000 health. It's burning. She spots it out. She sees everything. She's got plenty of vision. Now she comes through. Zhukanu got to look for the snipe. Is she going to be able to find it? He's been eliminated right now. I don't know who got the last hit, so that's going to be the points, but the king is the main one that you want. Focus the king, Faye. Focus the king. No one's focusing the king. Huge pains. It is a huge pain to look at this right now, and the kill's going to go over to Demu. I don't actually know who got the last hit right there. I think Faye was actually going for the points instead, which definitely makes sense. So there's a couple reasons why she might not have gone for that. Okay, let me explain. Number one is that if she goes for it, she becomes a target, right? Because she's picked up a kill in the game. We're gonna double check all the other bases before we do that. The trouble is, I don't know if that's a smart move in the sense that now Demu's just gonna potentially roll over the top of her anyway. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I don't know whether there was an agreement, but I think she was just trying to get the kill. She just wanted the points for the kill because that's what really matters here. Like, she kind of knows she's dead here anyway, right? You spawn this close next to Vortex, you're basically dead. So there's probably something that you could say about like it being quite a nice thing to leave the king on the floor there, knowing that she's not going to be in the game for long. There is the risk of a runaway, though. I'll say that right now. Demu in the corner. He's got a beautiful little spawn here. You know, something that we didn't really talk about early on were our favorites and our least favorites. And obviously these two, it makes it very likely that they tap out early. But one thing to note is I didn't really call Demu out as a favorite. He's got a great little spot here, not because he's the furthest away from everybody, but because his neighbors have all got neighbors closer to them, right? Like Puppy Paw's neighbor is Wham, his brother. And we can see these guys having a good little tussle over on this south side. Meanwhile, towards the north, Vortex, his neighbor, has got Faye, who's a little bit closer. But now coming to save the day, King out of water, going to make its way to the village at the backside. Is there anywhere else it can run? Not really. And he's always going to go back to the main town center. I like how she's just baiting it. She's just baiting it. Just, hey guys, just letting you know there is a king in play. If you want the king, the fancy king, Who's going to get it? Who's going to get that fancy king? And you can see Lash having to fall back again for the moment. Daimyo with a huge amount of forces up towards this north side. I got to make sure I keep an eye down on the south as we've got siege starting to come out here for Averley. He's looking to finally return the pain he once experienced early on in the game. There is also a relic here on the floor, so perhaps Daimyo looks to try and flag that one or snag that one. Back on that south side, though, these walls are kind of messing me up, man. Every time I look down here, I get excited that there's units in the base. But now, towards the north side, King's going to pop out, go for a little run over to the village, some damage, but manages to make it for the moment. Spears together with crossbows on that top side. Definitely not enough to actually hold on, and unfortunately, he's fighting against Lash. Or she's fighting against Lash, and Lash is like the only person that can really save you in this position. Insufficient wood. Where's the king? The king came back inside. This king is so slippery, dude. We can't keep track of this king here. We got to make sure that we keep track of it, because when it goes down, that's a plus 50 pop, and it seems almost certain at this stage it's going to be going over to Daimyo. So we're going to make sure we get our admins on the back end to double check exactly who got the last hit on that town center, because it comes down to that last hit, that last torch. It's exactly like League of Legends Dota 2 if you've ever played it. Doesn't matter who does the damage to the creep, it only matters who gets the last hit. That's who gets the gold. Hold on. Wait. Oh, Daimyo's under attack! 50 pop. Oh my god, oh, the king got sniped! I didn't even see it. Daimyo just got eliminated before Faye! And now Faye out here, she's about to go down as well. I can't believe it. It's not butter. I can't believe it's not butter. We saw all the units in the base. I just didn't see the king. Why was the king even moving? I mean, I appreciate there was probably quite a bit of, we're not missing two. We're not missing two. Nice little block here to the north. It looks like Lash might get on the board. Very smart move there by Puppy Paw. You know, he's kind of locked in battle here with Wham, at least for the last couple of minutes. And Daimyo thinks he's safe. And so naturally he looks to attack 1, 2 players. There's the king going down right there. As, unfortunately, Lash finally gets a kill. Wow, like we missed this, but we kind of saw it at the last second, didn't we? So I don't know what happened here. We might need to review this, or not review it. I mean, we know who got the kill and all that kind of thing. But what I suspect probably happened, did Daimyo try and move his king from the town center into the wooden fortress and got caught right here? That's potentially what happened. I don't know if there's a lot of ranged units out here. I mean, we see the culverin, but nonetheless, things start to develop. Now, keep in mind, Daimyo is one of our point leaders here today. So I think no matter what, he's kind of through to the semifinals. So the fact that he gets taken out here, he'll be feeling like, you know, like it was a good effort. It was a good effort. Well played by Puppy, that sort of thing. You know, but there are players in this game right now who need to get on the board. Players in this game who are not in the top 16 and want to try and make their way up there. Players like Lash. Lash currently struggling to keep his eyes open, feeling that terrible headache from last night, thinking to himself, gosh, why did I commit to that many beers? I know I'm German, but I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't stomach it, he says. And hungover Lash in the north of the map is preparing something for us. A lot of cavalry to the south, though. Plenty of siege out here for both players. We power on the field. Don't mind if I do. Have a look at this bad boy. It says 1,000 olive oil. Don't be fooled, it's 1,000 silver, my friends. And now we've got ourselves some very close villages. Look at this, almost within proximity of each other. And now finally, to the south, Puppy Paw on the hunt. He's got that extra 50 population. He's going to be able to translate that into a decent military lead here over his brother. The twins facing off. Of course, for anybody unaware, these two are brothers and they're also identical twins. Puppy Paw, Wham. Who will become the victor out of this two? Now, of course, Puppy Paw, he's done quite well in the Outback Octagon. If you know your lore, if you know your history of the Outback Octagon, Puppy Paw is a 2-time champion. So Wham is definitely going to be fighting an uphill battle here, especially considering the fact the extra 50 pop is in favor of his brother. But now, Reboldequins over on this west side here for Averley as he looks to try and hold on. Town center about to go down. Keep in mind, we've got plenty of landmarks that are here. A lot of cav in this position as well. And back down towards that south side. It looks like the cannons continue. The royal cannons. No, just cannons, excuse me. The cannons continue. We've lost 2 landmarks now. That's the guild hall that's gone down as well. I don't know whether or not he clicked it. How are we doing on these knights? These knights still yet to get their royal biology upgrade. Meanwhile, the Radari sitting at a decent amount of health. 322. Let's check back in on that north side. Lash has got the plus 50 pop. Hopefully he looks to move out and see whether or not he can find another king. I mean, really, right now, it's one man against the world. If we look at this, it is one guy on the north of the map all by himself against 4 players on the other side. This is Lash's game to win. Right here, right now. Can he convert it? That is the question. He needs to be able to find these kings, locate the kings, take them out. We've got the king right here in the Golden Horn Tower. It is one snipe away from death. I'm going to say that right now. But speaking of snipes, we got ourselves plenty of action here on these landmarks of the south. Waverly looking to try and tee back off against his opponent, Numidan, over the wall as the Hippodrome goes down. And now he takes a landmark back. You can see him, he's keen, he wants to try and repair these positions. He's actually focusing down the Red Palace because he knows as soon as the Red Palace goes, he can focus down the Chamber of Commerce. So keep that in the back of your mind. It doesn't need to be a king that falls here. It can still be landmarks that get taken out instead. Now taking out these royal cannons on the back line. Raboldaquin trying to do work as he holds the line here. Is Lash nearby? Lash is not nearby. Meanwhile, towards the south, spear numbers starting to really build here as well. And now Lash finally uses that king ability. Doesn't see, I don't think he really sees much. Yeah, he just sees that, like, players are just having a good time. Lots of units running in. Doesn't really get a lot of information from that king ability, so he doesn't really know what's happening. But look at the Radari, dude. I think this might be Averly out right here. That's a lot of Radari. They've all got their axes throwing, and the royal cannons now begin to make their way through. So the edges are slowly taking out the insides of the cake, because the edges are always better on the cake. I've seen one of those pans. I got to talk to my wife about that. There's these pans that you can get, and they basically turn the entire brownie into just an edge. And I feel like that's something I need in my life. But we can talk about that another time, because we've got Outback Octagon to talk about right now. King still holding up for the moment. Red Palace just falling so quickly here with the royal cannons nearby. And unfortunately, these are the last landmarks right here. So when these fall, it's all over. Red Rover for Averly. That's one. King is out. He's going to go after the king. King's going to go for a bit of a run, but the last landmark falls, and that's going to mean +1 now for Numidan. And we potentially see the best position we've ever seen a Macedonian player in. I mean, we've seen a couple of games where they've done well, right? Like, we've seen, I think Daimyo was playing the Macedonians. He actually got a victory on them. So it's definitely possible, but we see them often do quite poorly at the early stages. Now, where is Lash? There is Lash. Lash. Can he find a snipe here? What's the best way for Lash to play this? Now, the truth is, like, you're not sniping this. Not only is this the Elsbach, this is the Elsbach with emergency repairs. This is the Elsbach with 7,500 health and 25% less damage. You're not messing with this bad boy. Like, you can't... This requires a mission that is not just go in and right-click a building. Now, we are going to be right-clicking buildings today. Lash is going to be attempting it. He seeks to keep in the front. Now, he can still definitely, if he parks all of his knights in here, it becomes risky for Numidan to even try and attempt this, but he's going to do it. He gets in position. Okay, we've got it. I'd want him to come down just a little bit more here with these knights at the back, but he's going to really try and commit here. At the back is an opportunity to run. Vils are going to be brought through. Radari in good number. Where's the king? Where's the king? King's down to the south side, so he's going to make a move down here. He's okay, and he's been surrounded, corralled into this position. Lash falling back away from this. Why is he at 200 pop? Lash, you can build more houses. Oh, Lash is hungover. Lash is hungover. Lash is hungover. Oh, can you imagine having to play a 5-figure tournament and then being hungover? I'm receiving confirmation the game is bugged, and apparently Lash can't increase his population. Really? Nah, don't say that. That's not good. Lash got Faye? Lash did get Faye. We saw Lash kill Faye. It was over here. Well, though I will say, I don't remember exactly how it happened because... Okay, hold on. We'll come back to it. Oh my god, that's a lot of cannons. That's a lot of cannons. Emergency repairs is in. Elsbach Palace. Puppy Paw, decent amount of units here. A whole bunch of hand cannoneers. But I just, with regard to my memory, King was back here. Whole bunch of units parked in here. I don't remember any units being next to Faye's King. I don't remember any units being next to Faye's King, and it just kind of fell over. Now, I know Faye is not the kind of girl who's going to go ahead and just, like, quit the game or delete the king. You can't delete the king, or at least I don't think you can delete the king anymore. You used to be able to. You'd have to use a transport ship for it. Oh my god, I remember playing FFA, dude, and they'd put their king in a transport ship and then delete the transport ship. Oh my lord, dude, that triggered me in so many games. Oh boy. And then I posted a video about it, and then like it just made the problem 10 times worse. So apologies. Yeah, we'll have to double check. I don't know exactly what happened there. That's a bit weird. We might have to go back in and just review at the end of this, because that's disappointing for Lash, because to me, Lash is like the hero of the game. He should be on 250 pop right now. So that's really disappointing. And now, you know, if he'd had an extra 50 knights right here, he's definitely able to get kill confirmation. Like, he's got the resources in the bank for it. He can absolutely do it. And now he's got to fight an uphill battle. This is so painful for Lash. I'm so sorry, Lash. It wasn't meant to happen like this. And now Puppy Paw on the south side, up against his brother. It's been a long battle, this game, but it looks like he's starting to get a bit of an upper hand here. Wham down to 126 pop. Puppy Paw, 220 population. Radari able to chase these knights away over on the west side here. And how does Lash loop back in? You can see he's rallied all the way to the front. Outpost now going to be going down as well. This is hard, right? You're up against crossbows and elite Radaris. Like, these units are incredibly powerful, as we hear the knight or the king going down. Oh, man. That is so tough. Does Lash have more than 20 houses? Yeah, almost certainly. I mean, he's a good player. Yeah, he's got 33 houses. He's like, why is it not giving me my extra population? I don't know. I don't know. Like, that's one of the things where it's like, this is in the base game, right? Like, it's not even in the mod. So why is he not getting it? We'll have to double check and get our admins in there. I'm not going to jump the gun here, but I will just say that the admin does have the clause to award consolation points. I don't know if I've worded that correctly, but we'll have to double check and see what happens. It's a bit painful though, isn't it, when the game bugs out like that? And this is such a high stakes event. King is on the move. King is on the move to another keep at the back here. Because like that's almost like a game deciding factor. But nonetheless, we're still going to blame our admin. That is exactly right. Blame Cow. Cow, I don't know what you've done, but I don't like it. Okay, Lash in a little bit of trouble here. He's fighting an uphill battle already. You know, he's had a little bit too much to drink last night. Now all of a sudden, can we just talk about his walls? He is building this base like an onion. And that's exactly how you build a base. You build it like an ogre. You build it like an onion. I don't know how you're going to compete against these Radari, though. These Radari are crazy. Can we just be real for a second? How did the Radari not get nerfed more than what they did? Like, all they did was they nerfed the movement speed slightly. Oh, they're still faster than a knight, don't worry. But just ever so slightly. Like, it's incredible the amount of stats they've got on them. And now, towards the center, another battle beginning to unfold. How does Lash possibly play this game now? He's sitting at 150 Vil pop. He could definitely go for a Vil delete here, but he doesn't really have the resources built up. He's got a huge economy. It's going to take a while for these royal cannons to get over here. To the south, the Elsback has fallen. And now Puppy Paw's in a bit of a tough spot. I did not expect to see... How is Wham pulling this back? We saw Wham down at like 120 population. And now all of a sudden he's at 194. The royal cannons, or rather the cannons, are working their magic. The Elsback has fallen. When it comes to landmarks, how many have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, and they're all tightly squished in over here. Good luck to Puppy Paw. I would have never guessed in this position that Order of the Dragon with an extra 50 pop loses to Joan of Arc. Never. Never, 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 never. That's incredible. But he's doing it. Will he be able to make it hit, though? Meanwhile, towards the front, the wall's starting to fall. Oh, Lash, say it ain't so. I feel sorry for Lash, man. I feel terrible for Lash. I feel like he got scammed. What happened up here? Tell me your secrets, Faye. What happened? We need to know. Did it just bug out or something? Has anybody seen anything like this before? And I can see people in the Twitch chat saying you should restart the game. For this, we couldn't restart it. We just kind of have to accept that there will be bugs. Because it's like, while technically we're playing a conventional mode, it's so hard to say, hey guys, everybody restart again because Lash didn't get population. So now everyone's going to take different positions. You know, like if there was a replay functionality where we could like load the game back up before it happened and say, okay, now we're going to play from this position, like maybe, but even then you probably wouldn't do it because you kind of know what your enemy's going to do before they do it, right? Like Numidan would have insight as to what Aveli's plan is. Aveli would have insight to that. Like, how would you even play around in that? Oh, I've got a message here to read admin chat. Give me a second here. Lash's knight died at the same time as Faye's king. So the same bug as Demo. Ah, so basically what happens is when a unit kills another unit, the game checks to see which unit killed this king. But if the unit doesn't exist, it can't award the kill to a player. And so essentially what used to happen with the demo ship is when the demo ship would blow up a king, the demo ship would kill the king, and then it would say, okay, who was the owner of that unit that killed the king? And they're like, what unit? There's no unit. And they'd be like, okay, well then the king kill doesn't go to anybody. So basically what's happened is that the knight has died at the exact same time as the king. And because of that, it's meant that the kill gets denied. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if that's a feature. All I know is it feels bad. That's all I can say. It feels bad. It feels really, really bad. And it's one of those things that you can't really fix it until it gets fixed by the devs, right? Like that could happen in any FFA game that you play. Any FFA game that you play, it could happen where it's just the unfortunate timing. I suspect it was probably the exact same frame that the knight was taken out, that the king was also taken out. Now it's meant in the north that Lash is just crumbling. There's a part of me that thinks he probably would have crumbled even if he had the extra 50 population, but I tell you what, I would have loved to have seen him given an attempt with that extra 50 pop. He's got a good number of units. Is there still... Where's that king? Is the king at least in... Yeah, okay. I was going to say, if there's an opportunity right here to like try and push it back around, but there's not. There's not. The king is safely behind those walls. And now a massive army coming through here. Lash looking to try and surround this army. A huge amount of cannons on the backline, crossbows as well. Still not yet to get their elite upgrades. Kind of impressive that he's been going this long. And the knight number looking incredibly powerful here for Lashes. He's over 100 population in military still. Numidan working it down. And now the connection finally going to be made to those cannons. Meanwhile, to the south, we've got a battle that continues to rage between these two brothers. The Battle of the Brothers. It reminds me of the good old days of seeing Soldier versus GUA. Now we've got Puppy Paw versus Wham in this Outback Octagon game. And they are absolutely doing a wonderful job at making it short, making certain that this is an even battle. This is incredible. So rarely do you see a 250 pop versus 200 pop battle look this even. And now the Culverin trying to take out the keep, but at the same time, the cannon's going to be able to take them out. Meanwhile, the Radari going to start running towards... Where's the king? The king. Where's the king? I don't actually know where the king is. Can I get a king check on Isle 6, please? He's got to be back. Okay, he's back here. There's an outpost. Ooh, dangerous. Dangerous. There is a Joan of Arc in the game. I will just say that right now. Be careful. Be careful, my friend. We do have a Joan of Arc in this game. And now, the cannons make their way through the base. It's an absolutely mammoth base as well. Let's check back in. See how Puppy's doing on this south side as the push continues. He's up 50 pop at the moment. 167 versus 218. Hand cannoneers just teeing off. Not really much room to go here for Wham. Meanwhile, we see that king ability being used by Numidan. He's looking for that king. He says, okay, let's find it. Let's see what we can spot out. He's gonna have to make it all the way, and you can see, I think he's just gonna work down the landmarks. Unfortunately for Lash, oh, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it, man. He had such a great potential this game. And it all gets spoiled by that. It's just one of those things. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Hopefully it gets fixed up by the devs, but it's one of the, like, surely there'd be a way for them to do like an if statement, like if no unit is detected, then you check if, no, it's hard because then you might award the king kill to somebody who didn't deserve it. That's hard, dude. How do you do that? He's gonna go for it though. Oh, is he gonna go for landmark snipes? He could totally go for landmark snipes here. He's got a lot of units back here. Vill's gonna try and repair. He's just killing the Vills for the moment. He could absolutely landmark snipe this. How many units has he got in here? Let's double check quickly. 90 cav units, and now he's gonna lay siege to the Golden Horn Tower. Numidan with 8,000 wood, so he's gonna be able to repair it back up. I think you're gonna have to come back over to here. Meanwhile, towards the top, it's gonna be a race. I don't think it's going to be close, though, unfortunately. He's working down the secondary town center. Meanwhile, towards the north, the final outpost is exposed. I love the thinking from Lash, and I think this is exactly what he needed to do. Maybe if he'd done this with his army, remember this army that was down here? Instead, if he'd gone for that, then absolutely there was potential. Where are these landmarks anyway? Anyway, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You could have absolutely sealed the deal right here. It's one of those little things. It's like, in hindsight, you can see it. All right, so we got an elimination that comes through. 3 players remain, and now the question is, how are we going to sort this problem out? We got a little bit of a problem, and that's that, well, not everybody's even. You see, Numidan's sitting on 300 pop. The question is, do Puppypaw and Wham know that? And even if they did, would he represent enough of a threat for them to say, hey, we're going to give up our history? We've been battling this game for 40 minutes. Are we going to give it all up right now just to go and kill that guy over there? We'll have to see what the play is. We'll have to see exactly how it goes down. Someone in the chat saying, give Lash some extra points to compensate. I don't know whether or not we've got the ability to do that. I'd have to double check what our rule book says, because obviously we've got a rule book, but I'm not 100% familiar with every single rule. I will provide that. I will tell you that right now. I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure there is an ability for us to do that in a circumstance like this. I don't know whether or not we should, though. That's the other thing to note. Don't get me wrong. I think that we should, but whether the integrity of the tournament should is a different matter. I think, like, maybe if you got players to agree, like to give him an extra +1 or something like that. But like that, when you think about it, like, that's a kill. Like, you're really just going to give this guy a kill for free because his king didn't work? Like, maybe. Hand cannoneers now pushing in. Look at the amount of prelates that we've got back here as well. Give the ghost a bonus point. Yeah, I mean, and that's probably a good way to look at it as well, right? Like, the impact that makes on the game just because of it is so significant. And I think that's another key takeaway, right? Is we look at the significance of the kill as well. Like, this was just an instrumental kill that potentially would have changed the game. You know, if Lash had picked up a kill on Numidan through a snipe 10 minutes ago, he's the guy that's rolling over these two guys. He's the guy that's getting catapulted onto the front page. But now, we've got trouble in paradise. Numidan playing this interestingly. Now, Numidan actually just going to be rushing in here. Does he potentially think that the king is on the table? The king's down here in the Red Palace. He could just bypass it and go straight for the snipe. These guys have been fighting it out all game. Keep in mind, Puppypaw's on 250 population here. If I was Numidan right now, I'd be much more tempted to just kind of hold on and keep building up my army. I mean, I say that, but he's got 200 army. He's got a lot of units. He's got quite the big military. Numidan might just win this game right here. Like, this army of Radari is so huge. And you got to remember that Puppypaw and Wham are constantly fighting. Look at the resources that they've got. They've got nothing in the bank. Both of these players are exhausted. And now just coming in, cleaning this up, it's Numidan who takes down the Red Palace. King is out. Is he going to pop the axes? He doesn't need to. He gets the +50. And now Numidan begins to crunch the numbers. The numbers being the army of Puppypaw. And crunching he does, as we potentially see another Macedonian dynasty victory. This civilization, initially, people were thinking, not that good. It had some bad spawns. I think that was it. It had some bad spawns, but we got to talk about the Radari, man. We got to talk about the Radari. This unit is kind of wild. And it got nerfed in the most recent patch, but it was a minor thing. A very, very small... Like, look at the damage numbers. Look at the armor numbers. Like, it is incredible. The health numbers. Like, everything about this unit is just amazing. I think the biggest thing is the damage numbers. The damage numbers are absolutely cooked, man. Like, 39 damage at this stage of the game is ridiculous. Now, Radari coming up. They're going to throw their axes out. It doesn't look that pretty. They've killed, like, one unit, a single unit that's gone down with the axe throw. And now he's going to make his way in towards the base of Puppypaw. Puppypaw still yet to repair that L's back. He could just focus down landmarks if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to take chances. Doesn't want to risk it all. He's only got 112 villagers, so keep in mind, if he loses this army, he's in a bit of a hard spot. So he wants to avoid that at all costs. Now over back towards that west side. Units continue to rally out. It's just Radari 100% right now, as well as some cannons in the rear. That is it. Just royal cannons to help finish this army off. And now back over towards that east side. I mean, Puppy Paw just spamming as hard as he can. He's at 100 in vills here. Never really pushed more than 100, which makes sense, right? When you think about the civ that he's playing. Got some Nesta Bees coming in from the south. All right, you like to see it. Those gilded villages are worth more than the average villagers, so naturally, it's very tempting to just leave it sitting at 100 population space. But now the army, I mean, this army's looking very minor. Is there any way that Puppy Paw pulls this back? I think there's definitely an opportunity for a landmark snipe. Like, we've seen that already this game. Lash definitely, if he could have had his time again, if he could have swapped it around, he definitely could have taken out these landmarks. There's none that are protected. None that are particularly powerful. Now Puppy Paw continues to add in more units here. Spears, hand cannoneers. He knows he's against 100% cavalry. I mean, technically there's some siege. Technically we've got 9 crossbows on the field, but they don't really count. And now the Radari, together with the Nesta Bees, beginning to make their way through. He's got a huge force now beginning to descend upon the Order of the Dragon base. Keep in mind at this point, if Puppy Paw wants to, he can surrender at any time, but he gets caught a little bit out of position despite having the smaller army. He still manages to get separated. Spears on one side, hand cannoneers on the other, completely surrounded. Numidan manages to surprise him from the bottom. And now a complete surrounding of his army. Hand cannoneers dead. Spearmen dead as well. Siege rolling up on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. I don't think Puppy Paw's coming back from this one. And that is it. So in the end, we got confirmation about what happened to each of these players. The only question is, how many points are we going to see Numidan pick up from this? Because he's looking a little bit scary right now. This is a massive army. Puppy Paw is still trying to hold on. Still thinks there's a way. Good luck. Godspeed. That's a big boy army right there, Puppy. And he agrees. He says, you know what? We got it. We got it. There it is, baby. Well played. Good game. Numidan taking out the victory right here. Oh, baby. All right, let's take a look and see. Villager count. I think... See, this is the trouble, right? Puppy Paw was maxed out on villager count. Like, he was 100. But he was still not able to make any headway against his brother. Like, Wham just held on for so long despite the pop difference. That was incredible. And then I think it all just came down to Numidan. Like, to be honest, in that situation, it comes down to whoever finishes their opponent first. And then they can just go on and clear the entire lobby. All right, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Let's get a bit of an idea on where these players sit after that game. I'll just get confirmation from our admins that everything's up to date. Actually, I don't need to. I think it's already up to date. We should be okay. All right, we're going to head over to the leaderboard right now. Let's take a look. Keep in mind, this is the first game of the last week of the group stage. Okay, here we go. So, Puppy Paw, he's up on 34 points. Where's Numidan? Numidan down on 22. So, I say down on 22, I mean, he's up on 22. Let's put it that way. He did well in that game. So, he's going to be feeling very good about that. Manages to bring himself all the way up. And we can see over on the other side, Lash still down there on 3 points. I mean, it's... Actually, this hasn't been updated. Never mind. This has not been updated. All right. It's not updated. I'm double checking. Hold on. Give me a sec. I'm just going to make sure that I'm running the appropriate file. Yeah, I'm running it. Okay. It's not updated. All right. Ignore me. Ignore this. It's not updated. We'll leave it there and we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.